All right, so recently you went to Israel. How was the trip?
Well, it was a hard trip in one sense. I went to a lot of different places. Uh, One of the cool things was I went into the West Bank, and what I've been told is that most ministries will not go in there because of Hamas and just the dangers they feel they could experience. But we went in with an Arab pastor, and we went to a small Arab congregation of about 40 people, and it was a real honor for me to do that and to be there with them. The pastor of that congregation actually had to flee Gaza because his best friend was murdered by Hamas. And he's a marked man. He can't even go back and visit his family. And the next day, after I shared with the little congregation about the love of the Father, I had coffee in an Arab home, and it was really interesting to hear the take of their 21, 22-year-old son who has Palestinian friends and who have experienced, the military arm of the nation of Israel. Uh, from there, we went to Jerusalem. I taught at the House of Prayer overlooking the Valley of Hinnom, Gehenna. It's now a lush, beautiful green valley. There were people from all over the world there. Rick Ridings, who heads that up, is a great guy. I had a great time just talking about the whole idea of enjoying God out of an understanding of God's enjoyment of us. I hit a couple other Arab congregations. I spoke twice at a mixed congregation in Mount Carmel with David Davis and his leadership, and that was a blast. Again, talked about the Father, enjoying God. Also went into a Russian Jewish congregation, and that was very interesting. And then toward the end of the trip, went to Tiberias and spoke to a Hebrew congregation by the Sea of Galilee. And one of the things I found out was about 80% of Messianic Jews in Israel have come out of Russia. So I found that quite interesting. But overall, it was a great trip. I did a internet interview with a guy who's been working on this for about 7 years, and his broadcasts go into 105 nations, mostly Muslim. So it was a real honor for me to spend an hour unpacking God's love and affections for people, revealing God as Father through the Scriptures. And I don't know, I'm looking forward to going back. I think I came away with a greater passion to see both Jews and Arabs in particular be joined together more closely through Yeshua, Jesus. My heart is to see what Paul talked about in Ephesians chapter 2 come to fruition with the forming of the one new man between Jew and Gentile. I didn't see a lot of that there. I think part of why there's still a big divide between Messianic Jews and what we would call Gentiles is just some of the teachings that come from Christian Zionists, who have taught that there's one path for Israel and there's another path to God for Gentiles. And, some are even talking about a dual covenant these days, and that Jewish people don't need to embrace Yeshua or Jesus as Messiah. So you got a real mixed bag over there. But, I just fell in love with the people. A lot of them who've come out of Russia are really beat up. They really don't understand God's love for them. And so it was a real encouragement for me to see their hearts coming alive, as we talked about God's affections for them.